by a great friend of mine and a very special guest all the way from the other side of the world, Fred Karpoff. Great to see you, Fred.
You as well, Tom. This is really, I just told you, Tom, my other partner is Tim. Tim, it's great to see you, and we're going to have a great time here.
So, Fred, we wanted to jump on today to talk about a new series that we're starting. And I actually came up with a cool name for it today, I think, and that is Tim Gets Taught series, where I put myself on the line and have a lesson with a master teacher on some repertoire that I'm working on, and do it over a series of weeks or months, and show you the process that I'm going through and the things that I'm learning. And I thought the best person I could think of to do that would be Fred Karpoff, who runs Entrada Piano. You can talk about that in a second, Fred. But why are you so passionate about this as a project for us? What are some of the things that we hope teachers might get from this?
I think it's so tremendous what you're doing, because you provide such a service to teachers throughout the world, and to model this kind of action. I mean, it's so important that we all keep learning. I don't know if Michelangelo really did say that phrase about "I am still learning," but whether it's true or not, it is absolutely important for all of us. I think that we are living, growing, changing, evolving beings. And music is such a vital force for really just self-expression, but that brings joy and pleasure in so many other ways, which redounds in so many ways to our students, to our loved ones. And I think that being able to pull that together and being able to play what you want at the piano confidently, whether it's playing arpeggios, tremolos, trills, repeated notes, octaves, chords, whatever the challenge is. So many of us run into brick walls. It's like, oh, we hit that glass ceiling. And there are ways to play that you can be so confident playing in what I call three-dimensional motion. And that all of a sudden, I like how one teacher put it to me. She said, oh, I looked at this with my students. I said, wait, this is just an arpeggio. This is just a trill. And so they took the mystery and the scariness out of it. And all of a sudden, you apply what you can do to that. So it's not just an arpeggio at that moment. It becomes something that you can use expressively and dynamically to really express yourself.
And the other thing I think it gives you is confidence as well. And we get questions all the time in our community about teachers whose students are progressing to a higher and higher level. And many of us don't have the confidence to keep pursuing. We don't think we're good enough, and so we teach these students for 10 years, and then we sadly go, sorry, I can't teach you anymore, goodbye, I'm going to hand you over this beautiful specimen I've worked on for so long, I'm going to hand you over to a more advanced teacher. And I've been in that situation before, and I have to say that the lessons I had with a concert pianist in order to get my diploma some 10 years ago was the difference for me in saying yes to those taking on advanced students and doing it with confidence, and going, I can't do this, I'm just going to stick to my intermediate students.
Right. You've hit the nail on so many heads right now, because it's we have such a special privilege we have to entrust ourselves, especially when we have a younger student who is on a path towards perhaps going in a way that maybe they'll surpass us. We have to be open to that possibility. And I think there's also that familiar relationship. There's this kind of, in a way, what teaching is about is love, right? You care about another human being, and you do that, of course, in the most professional way. I'm not talking about anything inappropriate. It's that but that sometimes we find, especially at the university I teach at, that there's sometimes a teacher will keep a student perhaps too long, where the student has maybe gone beyond them, and that it's because there's so much familiarity and fondness maybe between the two, but they don't really want to let go. And on the other hand, they know maybe they should, and that takes a lot of courage. And so the other part of that is, though, I think that what I think you're alluding to is that, especially if somebody is so busy at teaching, they teach so much, they get to that place where all of a sudden they don't see themselves as a player anymore, and certainly not as a performer. And so there's also an identity thing that I think I really want to encourage. As part of my mission is to encourage teachers, as well as everyone else who loves to play the piano, to remember you are also a pianist. You don't have to give that up. And in fact, by recharging your own batteries, by continually challenging yourself. Some people, they get down to 0 and they realize that's a real problem. So if you're at 0, you have to start up at 15 to 30 minutes and make that commitment and keep moving upward. But I mean, I could probably talk about that for a long time, but I think you're absolutely right. That takes courage, and yet, on the other hand, the alternative is perhaps scarier, because you start to feel isolated, that, wait, I'm not playing anymore. And you remember those days from when you were much younger, and you couldn't wait to get to the piano. And now you're giving so much to your students that maybe you don't have enough left for yourself. But remember that if you do give to yourself, you're giving to your students as well.
This is, nail on the head stuff, I think, and it's going to resonate with so many teachers. In fact, MJ, who's watching live now, and hi to all the people watching live now, feel free to pop the chat in too, and I can actually put up MJ's comment here. She says, let's see if I can get it showing, can I? There we go. She says, oh, this is my story. I have a student I need to pass on, despite the fact that I've known him since he was born. This is going to show just by exactly the kind of thing that a lot of us are in. Now, sometimes it's going to be appropriate that perhaps we do pass them on, but I want to challenge teachers, all of you guys out there, that with some further education, some practice yourself, getting a master teacher to help you, there may be an opportunity for you to not lose this student. And you're not only losing the relationship, you're losing the income as well. And, it's kind of sad. So that identity thing you were talking about, Fred, so important. I really enjoyed the process of getting my own performance diploma, and now trying to get back into music, which is part of the reason that we're connecting together now to share this with everyone. So I'm interested we're kind of testing out this system as well. So I'm going to put myself full screen and go to the piano so that we can actually see what this is going to look like. See if I can get my keyboard showing. There we go. So Fred, can you still see everything?
I sure can. Yeah.
All right. So for those of you interested in what we're actually going to be doing, so we're going to do every 2 weeks at this stage, we're going to do a live stream lesson where I get taught by Fred on some repertoire that I'm working on. And we're going to do this at 4 p.m. Eastern Eastern USA on Sundays, which is Australia, 8 a.m. Melbourne time. So, and you can work out the other times around then, but that's the plan that we're going to be doing, and the works that we're going to be working on. So, and I haven't quite got my right camera microphone on today, but hopefully we'll get an idea. So the first piece that Fred's going to help me with is Opus 10, number 1, Chopin, the Etude in C major, this one. So the main things that I'm going to be asking Fred for help on is getting it up to speed, getting it fast, because what I find, and I wonder if you guys, if you've ever tried playing this, have the same issue, the faster it gets, the messier it gets, and the more cramped and awful your hands feel doing it. I mean, my understanding, Fred, is this ultimately should be at this. That kind of a speed. That's what I hear the professionals doing. Am I crazy to think I could ever do that?
I don't think you're crazy, and I mean, I will say that you're starting out with one of the trials by fire, and although I probably haven't played this passage in a couple months, I'll see what happens, because it's like, oh, am I crazy to play right now? So I made a spectacular mistake. Starting to get my hands in shape, but it's actually what we have to work on is the form, and there's and we'll isolate that. I suppose we should save it until we actually do it in the lesson. But it's I think that tempo is probably about the right to work on. But as you're working towards getting it to performance level, you're absolutely right. You have to make sure you stay economically involved so that you're never getting tired out and taxed. But we'll take that on specifically. And I was sort of chuckling when you said this is going to be the first piece. I was like, I wonder how many people are saying, well, let's see, what else should you do Opus 10 number 2? Should you do Opus 25 number 6 too? Maybe we'll throw in Rock 3, which actually I am really learning. I am learning it right now. But
are you really? Oh my goodness.
I thought, I remember reading Gary Graffman's book many years ago because it was called I Really Should Be Practicing. And he planted this idea that I want to actually do a series on this, and hopefully if I can take the time to isolate perhaps measures, 1 to 8 or 400 to 447 or something, and do a little tutorial on each one, but that'll take a long time. But Gary Graffman and others give the idea that once you reach a certain age, you could never play this. And I think I and many other people have thought that's true. And for some reason, about 3 months ago, I decided it's not true. And in fact, it's very pianistic as long as you put everything together. So that's something for the future. But I interrupted you. You had a couple more pieces you were
So I'm also going to get some help with Fred on trills in particular, trills in Scarlatti. So I'm working on the Scarlatti K96, which is this one. And it's got those trills, but it's also later on got these repeated notes. And we were just talking before we went live actually about this is a Kawai Ores hybrid upright piano. So I'm playing a full upright action at the moment, and we're just talking that there are some differences between the ability for an upright piano and a grand piano to repeat notes fast too. So those trills, I know that's a specialty of yours, trills, and just getting freedom in that motion, right?
Trills, yeah. I wonder if I should switch my camera for that. Let's see if we go to. Oh no, I'd have to switch over. I'm getting used to our platform here, but
that's all good.
Let's see. I could take the time to switch us over here. Maybe it's better from the side, would show. So if you're playing a trill after you had when you have these trills, you're able to cycle in and out and play trills forever. You think about that trill that opens L'Île Joyeuse, and if you play with a quiet hand, you should be able to trill for a very long time. Sometimes I'll play those trills in the Emperor Concerto, in the second movement, where the trill goes forever. And I remember when I was young, I used to feel like the trill, that my hand would fall off while I was playing this, because it just keeps going on. But ideally, you should be able to play a trill for a very, very long time, and basically, essentially, forever. I'm sorry to make that.
We're having trouble hearing what you're saying, Fred, as you go higher.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
So what I was saying is that I said I have to hope Beethoven will forgive me for talking over this music. I was saying that in this kind of music, that long trill in the second movement of the Emperor Concerto, it goes on forever. And it feels like it. And I remember when I was younger feeling like, it's getting, my arm's getting tired. And in fact, if you're, I see that I'm sort of just looking into the face camera here, but notice that I'm sort of cycling in and out. And
this movement in and out of the keys, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then another thing, Tim, that'll be important when you get your new piano is that you'll have the action, the grand piano action will set you up for a different experience through the sound point. And so as you stay closer to the sound point, you won't want to release the fingers too high. They'll stay really close there, and then you activate them from here. You can see how this is one of the motions for speed in the body, right? The problem is so many of us were taught to play like this. And once you do this, you see how tough that is for the fingers to move. But if we move them from here, this is called your MCP joint, your metacarpophalangeal joints. And it's so easy. It looks like a sine wave, right? That's one of the main motions for speed in the body. And once we do this, it's very difficult because you're using these opposing muscles that we have in our arms. And if we try to use them at the same time and go for speed, good luck. You're just on the fast track for tendinitis.
Well, there's going to be a lot of teachers going, oh, but hang on, that's how I was taught and that's how I teach, because we want to make sure all the fingers line up because the fingers are all different lengths and all those different things we've heard. So I have a feeling we're going to be diving into that one come the start of our lessons next week, so that's cool. And the other one was in Chopin's third scherzo, which has got... second. No, I think the
Okay, good. Okay, I
that,
thought you
so
were
bar 240 something
great.
is
Okay,
it's just done the whole, and it's that arpeggio here, and then it goes, and I can play them at a slow speed. I've got lots of different ways I practice them, but I can't make it sound like the people who I hear doing them, the concert pianists, because it's just this kind of roar. It just starts quietly, just roar up the piano.
yeah, I'm just finding the score here. You have the yeah, so that's a that one's actually that's pretty friendly. I'm just finding the score here. I got the right spot. So that one I think you're going to find that compared to Opus 10 number 1 is going to be a walk in the park.
Okay, maybe we should start with that one on Sunday when we meet, perhaps.
I think so. I think that's probably a good place to go.
And we've been talking as well about getting you on a webinar for later this year to talk about trills and arpeggios really specifically, and actually create some content for our members on that, which is going to be really fun to unpack. So we're actually going to focus a webinar on that where teachers can come and ask questions and things. But that's later on. But I knew that you would be able to help me with that one, which is going to be super fun. So I'm just really, really excited that we're going to be able to put this together. So for those of you watching, join us again, same channels, wherever you are. I saw Tammy said she enjoyed the better view of your piano when you were playing there, so that was great. We'll get all our cameras sorted out, we'll get the microphones right, and we'll be going live 4 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, American time, and that's my 8 a.m. here in Melbourne, on Facebook, in our Facebook group, the Top Music Facebook page, Twitter, and YouTube. So come and join us. And you can ask questions too. We would really like to make this interactive. So a little bit more like a masterclass, almost, I'm picturing. Fred, what do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. And I see that MJ asked about Sunday, 8 a.m. Melbourne. That's correct.
No, sorry. Yes, not Sunday though, Monday,
Sorry,
MJ.
Monday,
Yeah.
Monday. I keep messing up with the technology now, the time too. Yeah, Monday, 8 p.m.
It's all good. I'm really looking forward to this, Fred. Thank you so much for offering to do it. I think it's going to be super, and it's going to be a great learning experience for people. And I'm really happy to put myself on the line and stuff up and make mistakes, because I want to learn and get better.
I as well. I learn from every situation and with every single student I work with. So it's going to be a tremendous pleasure to work on this level with you, and to share this with teachers all over the world and pianists.
Should be great. All right, well, let's leave it there for now. It was only a general introduction anyway, although it's been 20 minutes. How did that go? That time just absolutely flew. Thanks heaps, Fred. Have a great weekend ahead, and we'll see you Sunday, Monday.
Sounds great.
Cool. See you, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.